Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.
Thank you, fellas. Good afternoon, everybody. Certainly welcome you to San Antonio. This is the official final press conference for Davis versus Santa Cruz. This Showtime pay-per-view fight comes your way Halloween night, October 31st. Gervonta Tank Davis taking on Leo Santa Cruz on Showtime pay-per-view. It will be a 4-fight pay-per-view event, and it all comes your way at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That is 8 o'clock Central Time here in Texas, and of course 6 o'clock Pacific Time. The event will be the first major boxing event in front of fans, and it all goes down inside the Alamo Dome here in San Antonio, and it's presented by Premier Boxing Champions. The main event, the WBA Super Featherweight Champion taking on the WBA Lightweight Champion. And the winner of this fight walks out of the ring with 2 titles from 2 different weight divisions. It's promoted by Mayweather Promotions, TGB Promotions, GTD Promotions, and Santa Cruz Boxing Club. Tickets are still on sale. You can get them at Ticketmaster.com. You can order the fight through the Showtime app. You can do it through Showtime.com, the website. You can also contact your local cable or satellite provider. One of the men who helped put all of this together is one of boxing's best friends. He is the president. He's the GM of Showtime Sports. He's Steven Espinoza.
Thank you, Brian. You know, a boxing event is a team effort, especially true for a pay-per-view event. You know, and although this group has done many pay-per-views, there's never been a pay-per-view quite like this one. And I want to start by acknowledging and thanking this entire group: Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Allaby, and Mayweather Promotions, TGB, Tom and Brittany, Life in Motion, Thorsten, Kelly Swanson, BZA, Steve Pratt, and everyone else is involved because, like I said, the pay-per-view is a big endeavor, but when you're doing it under these conditions and taking these kinds of precautions, it takes an additional effort. You know, I love my job. I really enjoy what I do, and I think the vast majority, maybe everyone I work with, also feels the same way. And one of the biggest reasons why is that we get to witness young men like Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz develop and mature right in front of our eyes. This is our 9th fight with Tank. We've done 13 with Leo. We've seen them mature as fighters. We've seen them mature as young men. We've seen them struggle and sweat and learn and triumph. We've seen them become fathers. I remember the first time I met Tank, April 2016, Washington, D.C. I doubt he remembers it. He remembers the fight. I doubt he remembers meeting me. He was on the non-televised undercard of an Adrian Broner fight at the Armory. He had fought. He came over during the telecast, and Floyd introduced him. And he said, and I remember his very words, he said, this is my young fighter. Watch out for this kid. And we've been watching ever since. I remember the first time I met Leo, June 2012, shortly before his first world title fight. A very humble, quiet, soft-spoken, almost shy young man. Very different from the guy that I saw in the ring about 48 hours after that. The point is, we've been along for the journey. We've seen the journey of these young men. They've been battling the odds literally since birth. For those of you who weren't familiar with it, we were lucky enough to spend time with them in All Access, and they opened their hearts, their minds, they've opened themselves to share their stories. And I'll tell you what, the thing I've heard most is that the difficulty about this fight is not whether people want to watch it or whether they're going to buy it. It's who they're going to root for. Because if you know these young men's stories, what they've gone through, what they've experienced, what they've overcome, again, it's no exaggeration to say they have battled the odds since birth. And they've made themselves what they are today with the support of family and near family people like Calvin Ford and like Leo's father, Jose. But the bottom line is in these two young men, we have two of the most accomplished and popular young fighters in the sport today. Leo's been a champ almost consistently, almost throughout since 2012. Tank had sellouts or near sellouts in Los Angeles, Baltimore, and Atlanta just last year. Leo has headlined big events at the Staples Center, more than once at Barclays Center, and Tank is, possibly might be the future face of the sport. They've certainly had their share of doubters as well. Anybody does if you're successful. But again, the criticism and the doubt that comes along with being a high-profile fighter is nothing compared to the things that the two young men have overcome. And now again, we've got these two accomplished young men fighting on Saturday night. And you've got to respect their journey and respect where they've come from and respect the teams that come around him. And actually, we do know what's going to happen on Saturday night. Leo's going to come into the ring and throw a lot of punches and show an activity rate that's unlike just about anybody else in the sport. And Tank is going to show the power and speed, the athleticism that has made him one of the fastest rising young stars that we've seen in the sport in some time. Beyond that, it'll be up to them, just like it's been up to them for their entire lives. We'll see you on Saturday night.
Thank you, Stephen. By the way, one of the beauties of this fight, especially a mega fight like this, is that you have two real gentlemen of the sport. As Stephen mentioned it, you can always watch the All Access Davis Santa Cruz. It's available on Showtime. You can also go to the Showtime app as well, just to see where these guys have come from and how they've become champions. Before we hear from the fighters, let's talk to the guys who helped rear these guys, who trained them. Calvin Ford, of course, the trainer for Gervonta Tank Davis, and Jose Santa Cruz, the father, trainer of Leo Santa Cruz. We'll start here with my left to your right, Mr. Ford. Calvin Ford, give us a word on how camp was going and what you expect to see Saturday night.
Camp was great, unbelievable. It started out one of the traditional camp that you have, but it was the Tank Davis camp. Really appreciate the work that he put in. I mean, great work. Did what we need him to do. I just can't wait till Saturday to get here so I can watch my Tank Michael Jordan. Can't wait to see him. And just looking for a great performance out of both fighters. I want to say thank you to Santa Cruz and his dad. Can't wait Saturday night.
Mr. Santa Cruz, if you would just give us a word on how camp went for Leo, what you expect to see Saturday night. Semi Roman will do the interpretation for us.
Señor José, ¿tú qué esperas para esta pelea con Leo este sábado y cómo fue el entrenamiento para Leo para esta pelea?
Fue un entrenamiento bueno porque sabemos la importancia de esta preparación. Sabemos la importancia de esta pelea y la verdad venimos bien preparados como siempre él viene con buena preparación para hacer buena pelea.
He says they had a really good training camp. They know the importance and they understand the importance of this fight. And Leo's well prepared. He's ready for Saturday.
Now, let's hear from the fighters. And we'll start with this young man to my left. Gervonta Tank Davis, 25 years old, turns 26 just a week after the fight. He is 23-0, 22 have been knocked out. It's a 95% knockout ratio, one of the best in boxing. Three-time world champion. He is 7-0 in world championship fights. He is the WBA lightweight champion of the world. Tank, give us a word on how camp was and what should we expect Saturday?
Camp been great. You know, I moved my camp. You know, me and my team just decided to move my camp to Vegas. You know, to have a perfect camp, and we started out. This will be 15 weeks in camp. So I'm definitely well prepared, and hopefully Leo well prepared, and we get the fans what they want to see, and that's excitement. You know, we know that Leo gonna come, you know, with punches, and I'm gonna come explosive. So it's all about giving back to the fans, and you know, giving them that treat they wanna see. So I'm well prepared. I'm happy. I'm grateful. You know, I want to thank, you know, Al Heyman. I want to thank, you know, Mayweather Promotions, my personal team, and just Showtime. You know, I'm grateful to be in this position, and I'm ready. So October 31st, Saturday, it's gonna be explosive.
Tank will be facing Leo Terremoto Santa Cruz, 32 years young, 37, 1-1, 19 knockouts, 4-division world champion, looking to become a 5-division world champion. In fact, in the sport, really there have only been 5 guys, a handful of guys who've said that they've become a 5-division or more world champion. A Floyd Mayweather, a Manny Pacquiao, an Oscar De La Hoya, a Sugar Ray Leonard, and a Tommy Hearns. Talking about daring to be great, that's what this young man is looking to do on Saturday night. He is the WBA Super Featherweight Champion of the world, Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, thank you. I also want to thank, you know, Steven Espinosa. They saw my career grow. That's where I became a world champion. I want to thank Al Heyman. Thanks to him, I'm living my dream. I think, you know, I've accomplished a lot, and thanks to him, I want to thank, you know, Brad, Sylvia, the Watson, Marcus Watson, Brad, Sam, all my family, my team, my brother, my dad, you know, everybody, Mayweather Promotions, TGB, all the Heyman team, everybody that's helped me to get to this place. This is what I dream of. You know, when I was a little boy, I wanted to be on this stage. I wanted to be a pay-per-view fighter, and now I'm living the dream, and I'm just very happy, excited. And I never thought I was going to accomplish it because I know it was very hard. It was like winning the lottery. It's like you had to be a, you know, fighter that the fans love, and they follow you. And thanks to the fans too, I'm right here where I'm at. I'm just well prepared. I know I'm gonna face a hard fighter, you know, the best in the division. I think that's why I picked this fight, because, like they say, if you wanna be one of the best, you gotta beat the best. And I think Tank is the best fighter out there in the division. And because, you know, they say there's Gary Russell. Otherwise, I think Tank is a better fighter than them. So I gotta go with the hardest fight, and that's why I picked this fight, because I wanted to challenge myself. I know it's a dangerous fight for me, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm gonna go out there, give it my all. We've both gone through a lot. We both suffer, and you know that makes us work harder in the gym. It makes us go out there and train and give it our all, because you know we don't want to go back to where we came from, because we suffer a lot and everything. So I know we both of us are gonna go out there, give great fights, and you know, for the fans, I just hope that both of us come out healthy from the fight, no bad injuries or nothing, and may the best man win. We're just going to go out there, give the fans a great fight. And so thank you guys, and hopefully you guys watch the fight.
Leo, thank you very much, man. And it's great. I think that's the one thing you got to love about both of these fighters, from where they've come from to where they are now. It's a testament to not only them, but to the people around them. Let's start with you. Let's start with the obvious. I'm sure everybody's going to ask you, how's weight? And should we expect everything to go okay on weigh-in day tomorrow?
Weight is great. Tomorrow we just got to see. I feel great, so.
But we should expect you'll make 130 that's my question.
Definitely. It's a big penalty, so I definitely got to make it.
So, you always hear fighters say, you're only as good as your last performance, right? Last time we saw you, you're taking on Yuriorkis Gamboa. This is a guy who hurts his Achilles in the second round and nearly goes the distance with you in that fight. Even touched you a couple of times, pretty good in that fight. How different of a Tank will we see Saturday compared to the guy we saw last December?
I want to say towards that fight, it was more so of Gamboa just trying to survive. I felt as though, not to take nothing away from Gamboa, but it was him trying to survive. So it's more hard for to get punches off with somebody that's in there and just moving around than somebody in there actually to fight. I know that Leo gonna come to fight, so I think this fight gonna put me on that next level. So
Leo, a lot has been said, and rightfully so, about Tank's power for this fight. But sometimes when you're fighting a bully, you got to punch him in the mouth. And when it comes to boxing, when you're in a fight with a puncher, sometimes you got to step to that puncher to get your respect. So I guess the question is, on Saturday, will we see you step to Tank Davis in this fight to not only get your respect, and do you believe you have the power to stop a Tank?
Yeah, of course. We Mexicans have a big heart. My dad telling me to be smart, to fight a smart fight, not to get hit with those big punches that he throws. But me, even though my dad's gonna tell me that, probably I'm gonna want to go out there and you brawl with him, make it a war, go out there and see. But I'm gonna listen to my dad. He's a smart one. He's the one that's gonna tell me what to do. And as the fight is going, he's gonna be telling me how to fight him, and we're gonna find a way to beat him.
Tank, you've talked a lot about this being your first pay-per-view. You said, I need a spectacular performance for my fans. Does that mean then your knockout streak extends to 15 straight? Because it's 14 straight now. Does it extend to 15 straight come Saturday night? Is that what that means when you talk about a spectacular performance?
I don't think it have to be a knockout. I think that I just got to go out there and put on a great performance. That's mainly what I'm focused on. Forget far as pay-per-view or like everything else. It's just me going out there and showing them that I'm one of them top guys. I am the top guy in the boxing world. So that's mainly my goal, is to go out there and show them that when you have a lot of doubters, how when Michael Jordan used to play back in the day and he used to read the newspaper and he'd go out there and, do what they said he couldn't. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm going to show them that, I'm over top of the whole sport. And as far as not the sport, but I don't want to say I'm bigger than the sport or try to be on top of the sport, but that number one guy that everybody say, yeah, that's him. He's the baddest man in the sport. That's what I'm going after.
Leo, man, you look at your ring resume and all that you've accomplished, speaks for itself. You ever take offense that so many pundits and so many people have said, man, yes, it's a great challenge. It should be an exciting fight. But I think Tank's going to walk through this guy. Do you ever take offense to that and say, I am Leo Santa Cruz?
I don't really take offense because, everybody has their opinion. They could say whatever they want and everything. It's just my job to go out there and prove them wrong, That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm training really hard to go out there and, try to give a great fight, get the win, and hopefully prove them wrong.
Mm-hmm. And you look at your ring resume. You've been in with Frampton a couple of times. You've been in there with Abner Morris. How does this challenge stack up to some of those huge fights you've had? And where does Tank rank in the list of opponents that you've had?
I think Tank ranks in the best. I think Tank is my hardest fight right now. Is the strongest fighter in my life. And, I think Mares fight, Frampton fight, they helped me get great experience for this fight, type of fight against Gervonta Davis. I learned a lot from those fights, and I have, ever since I have learned a lot more.
What about you, Tank? Talked about this challenge here with Leo Santa Cruz. Do you think this is finally the fight where you can quiet even your naysayers who said we'd like to see him challenged?
I feel as though, Leo going to come to fight, and it's just about me pinning on that performance. I think once again it's just me going out there and do what I do best. You know how you see some potential in someone, but you gotta actually see it come out of them to believe it. That's what I think. That's what position I am. I'm in. Just they know I'm great. I just gotta show it. So that's what I gotta live up to it. That's what the level I'm in, position I'm in.
At 130 pounds, you got Burchell, Jojo Diaz, Herring. You got some really good fighters. Do you believe Saturday night we're seeing two of the best at 130?
Definitely one of the best. Even though Leo coming up and he actually won a belt at 130, it just show people, that he's a top tier opponent. He's a top tier, fighter that's fighting on TV right now. So then you have one of the best, explosive, guy that got tremendous power and, I'd say pound for pound, so the winner should be on that pound for pound list. So I think this is a great matchup.
Leo, only a handful of guys said they are 5 division or more world champion. What would it mean to you to not only get a victory, but to put your name in the class of some of those great fighters?
For me, it will mean the world to me. I'll be making history. It'll be like another dream come true, and I'll be putting the last name and up there with one of the best. And hopefully, like Gervonta said, hopefully the winner of this fight, they put him in the top 10 pound for pounds, and because we deserved it, and hopefully we do that.
Yeah. We got a number of questions from members of the media. Some of them are here. I'm going to start with Keith Eidick from the boxing scene. Keith?
Thank you, Brian. Leo, who's the hardest puncher that you've faced so far? And I know you haven't been hit by Tank yet, but how do you expect his power to differ from that?
One of the tough fighters that I have, that hit hardest, I think one of them was Carl Frampton, and also Jose Carita Lopez. He was a Puerto Rican. He had 36 wins and 30 knockouts. He got me one time with a good right hand, and he didn't hurt me or nothing, but I felt it. I felt it, and I felt that he hit hard.
How do you expect Tank's power to differ from what you felt previously?
Tank is a bigger guy. I know he's going to come hit hard, but, we in the sparring, we've been training with bigger guys, and we've been able to take their punches and everything, and hopefully we could take Tank's punches too.
You mentioned how hard it will be to resist the temptation to make this a war. How hard do you think it really is going to be? Because that's not probably the strategy to win the fight.
Yeah, probably not a strategy, but it is hard because, other fans, they want you to go and make it a war. They want to see a back and forth war. But I know that with Tank, I can't do that. I got to fight smart. But, I'm going to try to, as hard as I can to listen to my dad, do whatever he's telling me, and to win the fight. That's what we gotta do. I gotta think about myself and just win the fight.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Ellie Seckback, E! News.
I have a question for Don Jose. What does it mean to you to be here right now? Because we all saw the story, and how are you feeling?
Señor José, para ti, ¿qué significa estar aquí ahorita con todo lo que ha pasado con usted? ¿Y cómo se siente para esta pelea?
Primero le quiero dar gracias a Dios por permitirme estar aquí y pues contento porque esta pelea es muy importante para mi hijo y pues realmente he estado enfermo muchas veces, pero aquí estoy.
He says, first of all, he wants to thank God for allowing him to be here. He says he's really happy to be here with his son for this big fight. And truly, he feels happy. He's happy to be here, really, for such a big fight.
Thank you. A question for Calvin. Calvin, you've been around Tank since he was 7 or 5. What does it mean to you to be here right now?
Wow, it's crazy to tell you the truth because, little story, Tank asked to be a pay-per-view star. This is his fight. He accomplished a lot of things that I asked him to do, but this one is the pinnacle of boxing right here. When you get to a pay-per-view level and watching Santa Cruz story and his family and whatnot, right? They both walk in the same line, but different trails. So that night, both of them have a chance to be one of the best in the sports. A great night, great fight. I can't wait myself. So I'm very thankful to my Lord and everybody that helped us get in this position. And thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. By the way, for those who will order the fight, the features they have on both of these guys are amazing. And I think what Ellie is alluding to, Jose Santa Cruz, obviously has been battling cancer, is going through chemo, and then contracted COVID-19 this summer, and so severe that it nearly killed him. So that's part of the feature that you'll see during the fight. Let's see, Mike Coppinger from The Athletic.
Mike's not here, Brian. We'll take just 2 more questions from the press at this point.
And we have those by Zoom?
Yeah, I have one, actually. This is Chris de Blasio here. I have one from John Whistler, who's with the San Antonio Express News. John would like to have submitted these questions, 2 for Tank, 1 for Leo. Gervonta, we'll start with you. What did Floyd Mayweather tell you about fighting on pay-per-view, about how potentially different this week could be versus others?
Just, I got to do more interviews and, stay focused, most of all, just stay focused and, get the job done. Make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to, to be able to, become that pay-per-view star, like doing interviews and, walking that straight line and things like that. Well, he didn't say walk a straight line, but he said, do what I have to do.
Great. Where did you get the nickname Tank?
I actually got my nickname Tank from one of my coaches coming up. He branched off and started his own gym. But Mac Allison, I got my name from him. He was the guy that named all the fighters coming up. So I was a little kid, like fighting a lot in the gym and just playing a lot. And when I was young, well, still now, but my head was real big, but my body was small. So he used to call me Tank Head. So as I got older, we just stuck with Tank.
Calvin, do you want to talk about that? You gestured about the nickname.
He said it. He said it perfectly. He was little. Every time I look at him now, it's like if I reflect back when he was that age and whatnot, running around the gym, hollering, "Go Scout, go Scout!" And I just tell him, like, Tank, give me a minute, just give me a minute. And looking at him now, I'm just watching, being the man that I'm looking for him to be, family man, businessman, and the fighter. So I'm very thankful just to see this, one of my boys, grow up.
Thank you. Leo, from John Whistler, San Antonio Express News, for you. Some of your critics have questioned your level of competition in recent years. Is that part of the reason why you have called out Tank? Is that to quiet the critics?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons too. people were saying that I was scared to fight a big competition, that I didn't want to fight big names, or I didn't want to challenge myself, and that's why I decided to challenge Tank Davis, because I think he's the best in the division and he's the biggest challenge out there. So that's why I went after him.
Great. I'm going to offer one more coming in from our press members on Zoom. Tank, this one's for you. Being quarantined in Vegas and training, how has that affected you? It appears to many of the fans, and this viewer in particular, that they've noticed it seems that you are the most focused for this fight, or more focused for this fight than you have been in recent.
I don't think it affected me. It actually, I'm one of them guys that always like even coming up just when something in front of me and I know I got a big task, I know how to focus. That's what make people, them great ones great. You don't see no great ones that freeze up when it's crunch time. So I was always one of them guys that be able to focus when, big things on the line. That's basically what I'm doing. I moved my camp to Vegas because I know that, where I want to set myself at after this fight. So it's been great, so we'll see Saturday night.
All right, thank you. We're going to try two from press here virtually on Zoom. I'm going to start with Sean Zittel from Fight Hype. Sean, if you unmute, give it a beat, and then ask your question. Go ahead.
Hey, Gervonta, thanks for your time. Could you please just compare how you feel heading into this fight after the camp you had versus last year versus Gamboa? I know in that fight you were concerned about pacing yourself for the full 12 rounds. Is that something you're not as worried about for this fight?
To think back on it, I don't even know what I was just getting through the fight. It was just, like even in the gym, recently in the gym, it was times that I would spawn some people that didn't supposed to be in there with me. So I actually took them out the ring. Like I don't need to be spawned. I don't need to be spawning them, because sometimes when you spar or fight people, sometimes you get lazy in there and then you wind up getting touched with punches that you don't supposed to be getting touched with. And that's in that case, you see me get touched with probably 3 punches in the clinch from when I was in the clinch with Gamboa, because it's like you getting bored, it's not really a fight. So I think this fight more competitive. I think that, I'm going to have to throw more punches. I'm going to have to be aware a lot, from his output and things like that, from Leo output. So I think this is going to be, a fight that, the fans will enjoy, and people that, all around that's watching it. It's going to be a great fight.
Sean, do you have a follow-up?
One after another, we had Teofimo and Loma last week. You're the big pay-per-view fight this Halloween. Then we have Devin Haney the week after. Does that give you any extra motivation to prove to the fans you're the top guy in that group, you're the top dog, to prove it?
I want to say I'm really not focused on someone that's not in this fight. My focus is Leo. I can't overlook Leo, so my focus is Leo. Far as any fighter behind this, it really doesn't matter. I'm proving, along the way, and this is a step that I'm taking to get closer to the point I want to prove. Forget any fighter that's, not sitting here right here and fighting me Saturday. So my main focus is, getting the job done Saturday.
Okay, thanks, Sean. We're going to go to Manuk Akopian with the Los Angeles Times. Manuk, unmute and go ahead.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking the time, everyone. I have a question, Leo. You're a 7-1 underdog in some sports books. Do you think that you are that deep of an underdog in this fight?
Well, like I said, I lived opinions to the fans, to them. If they believe so, well, I leave it up to them. Like I said, my job is just to go out there and give the win. Give a great fight for the fans and give it my best and my all. But we're both great fighters. We will have accomplished a lot, and I think I should have been a lot closer. But like I said, that's the fans' opinions, and I respect their opinion.
Manuk, if you have a follow-up.
To place big bets, are you perhaps going to place a bet on yourself, considering you have such great odds?
No, I never bet. I'm not used to betting. I have never bet in any fights, and especially I wouldn't bet on myself because maybe sometimes people see that as bad luck. So I would never do that.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions from Zoom. Brian?
All right, thank you very much. Folks, I want to remind you, Saturday, October 31st, Halloween night at the Alamo Dome. It is Davis versus Santa Cruz. You can see it live on Showtime pay-per-view. Tickets are still available. You can purchase your tickets through Ticketmaster.com. You can purchase the fight through the Showtime app, Showtime.com, or through contact your local cable or satellite provider. The WBA Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Leo Santa Cruz, taking on the WBA Lightweight Champion, Gervonta Tank Davis, and the winner walks out of the ring with both belts. Gentlemen, let's have a face-off before we wrap things up. I want to thank everybody who's been watching. Let's send it back to our guys at Morning Combat.
Okay, let's go ahead and do all four of you standing in front of your stools for me first. Microphone down.
And there you can see the face-offs. Tank Davis to the left, Leo Santa Cruz to the right. Luke Thomas here, Brian Campbell in Jersey City via satellite, watching what you are seeing as well. We are the hosts of Morning Combat. And, of course, you just watched the Davis versus Santa Cruz press conference in San Antonio, Texas. And, of course, they will fight Saturday on Showtime pay-per-view in the Alamo Dome with a select number of fans in attendance. For the belts you see here, of course, the WBA regular lightweight title, as well as the WBA super featherweight title, respectively, one belonging to Davis and one belonging to Santa Cruz. Brian Campbell, your first reaction after hearing and seeing what we saw?
It's really it's a star-studded battle, and that's why this is on the pay-per-view level for these two superstars. But they're both fighting for respect. There's a daring to be great element for both, and Tank Davis taking on the toughest challenge, the most experienced veteran of his career in Santa Cruz, and Leo trying to do what very few have done. He's already a 4-division titleist, 32 years old.
Is your debt causing you sleepless nights? Knock your debt out with Debt KO. And your debt won't be the only thing keeping you up at night. Debt KO, free, impartial advice on all your debt.